I've made mistakes, and Jennifer, thank you for loving him through that mistake. Because the only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too.
MAGA said, what?
The only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too.
You said, y'all, as y'all know, this is the Opinion Cast, where we talk about political and cultural events. And what did he just say? We have just learned that Mr. Mullins might have did something to his wife. Like, they are really self-snitching. They're like rappers now. They are self-snitching on themselves just to get Trump's confirmations through. He said that if it wasn't for his wife allowing him to do things, do what? Like, okay. Oh. Just self-snitching today. We're just self-snitching today. And this is not the first time that one of them will say something out of character. It might have been him who said something else that was mighty crazy. So this video today is going to be about Pete Hegseth. He's the one who's currently up for the Secretary of Defense position. Yes, this is the foxholes. Yes, you know, Donald Trump, he loves him some foxholes. He got quite a few positions for them, and he's decided that this one deserves to get Secretary of Defense. Even though it seems like he doesn't really know much about the job, the position, what he's supposed to do, like the terminology, like what the fuck is going on? So Tammy Duckworth, she was brilliant in this section of the hearing where she started asking her questions, and it really nailed down, like, what does this guy know? What can he add to our government? What can he add? What can he make better? And after her line of questioning, I was like, this dude might need to go back to military training or whatever training they give people who are going to be Secretary of Defense, because he's not ready. He's not ready. But let's go ahead and play it.
Not qualified to that. You could do acquisition and cross-servicing agreements, which essentially are security agreements. You can't even mention that. You've done none of those. You talked about the Indo-Pacific a little bit, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. Can you name the importance of at least one of the nations in the ASEAN, and what type of agreement we have with at least one of those nations? And how many nations are in ASEAN, by the way?
I couldn't tell you the exact amount of nations in that, but I know we have allies in South Korea, in Japan, and in AUKUS with Australia, trying to work on submarines with them.
Mr. Hegseth, none of those countries are in ASEAN. None of those three countries that you've mentioned are in ASEAN. I suggest you do a little homework before you prepare for these types of negotiations.
Now, this dude came up here for a job interview, because this is essentially what it is. A confirmation hearing is a job interview. You're going up there to the senators to impress them, to show them that I can add something. I have something of value to add to our government, to our system, to make it better. If not make it better, at least maintain the status quo. And this dude doesn't even know what ASEAN is. Now, I don't know what it is either, and I had to look it up myself, mind you. But I'm not trying to be Secretary of Defense. And he came up here and didn't know shit? Oh, goodness. Now, you see what I did. I did me a little Google smoogle. I put in ASEAN countries, as you can see. And look at that. The United States Trade Representative.gov official said these countries, see, I can't even say it. I can't even say his names. He should have did this before he applied for this job, though. Like, how you gonna apply for the job and don't at least read the job application? Do a little Google smoogle. Like, these are the countries. I can't pronounce them, but dude, you didn't choose one. And there's like 8. There's like 8 countries. 8. Ugh. Now, Tammy Duckworth, she didn't stop there. She then started asking him more questions. As you know, she served in the military. She's lost some limbs serving for our country. So she's the real deal. And like, I can't say more glowing things about her. She really does care about our veterans. She cares about our military. She's always asking the questions that need to be asked. She rarely politicizes stuff, because I know we live in a very polarized world. But when she's on this committee, normally her questions focus mainly on the military. What do they need? She doesn't care if she has to reach across the aisle to get the help for our military. She just cares about making sure our military has the best. So this is her next line of questioning that she had for him.
Sure. What is the highest level of international security agreement that you have led? And can you name some that the Secretary of Defense would lead? There's three main ones. Do you know?
I have not been involved in international security arrangements because I have not been in government other than serving in the military. So my job has been to
So no, the answer is,
lead men
can
and
you
women
name
in
one of the
combat.
three main ones that the
You're
Secretary
talking
of
about
Defense
defense
signs?
arrangements. I mean, NATO might be one that you're referring to.
Status of Forces Agreement would be one of them.
Status of Forces Agreement. I've been a part of teaching about Status of Forces Agreements.
But you don't
inside
remember to
Afghanistan.
mention it? You're not qualified, Mr. Hegseth. You're not qualified. You talk about...
So she hit the nail on the head. You are not qualified, Mr. Hegseth. If anything is DEI, this is DEI. He is literally only getting the position because he's a white man. And he was a Fox News host who was friendly to Trump. DEI did not earn it because you're going for a job and you're literally lying. Like, you swore an oath, first of all, and you're literally lying. You're lying in your you taught this, but you didn't think to mention it. And I think Senator Tim Kaine, I believe that's his name, he hit the head on the nail. Like, you can't even follow this oath of coming into here, getting this job interview. You swore on the Bible that you're going to tell the truth to the senators because you're not going to just say anything to get the job. And you're lying about teaching a class because we all know if he taught the class, he would have said the thing, right? At least that's what I would do. You are already have been embarrassed by these questions. Why add more to it? Like, if I was him, I don't know, but I'm going to be starting day one, making sure that I have compensated people around me that can teach me what I need to know so that I can grasp everything quickly. Like, anything would have been better than this.
Opportunity to talk. I want to return to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
I believe so.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime. That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and
she's
you
here.
cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
It was
no,
fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage I have to this.
No, you've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything,
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
again.
How do you explain your
Completely
judgment?
false charges against me.
You
Fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
So you
Talking
can't,
about a hypothetical.
so you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge,
And it was
but you
fully
acknowledge
investigated.
that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
I will allow your words to speak for themselves.
You're not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your wife. You've taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, Not a perfect person, not claiming to be.
But no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath, like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
In finalizing divorces from your first and second wives, were there non-disclosure agreements in connection with those divorces?
Senator, not that I'm...
And the point he's trying to make is he's going to have to, when you take this job, you're got an oath to the United States government, to the people, not to Trump. And he's trying to get to the fact that this is a same person whose mother came out and wrote an op-ed about him. Or maybe it wasn't an op-ed, it was an email she sent to him that literally slandered him and said he was terrible to women, that he is manipulative, that he is basically a narcissist. And so this is the same person that you have non-disclosures with your wives. You have been accused of sexually assaulting somebody. You are somebody who has had drinking issues on the job. And this is a job where you can't drink. You have to be available 24/7 at a moment's notice, at the drop of a hat. That's what this job is. And so if you can't keep your vow to your wife, how can you keep your vow to the United States government? You have to keep a vow to over 300 million people depend on this person who's in this position to keep us safe. If you can't even do right in your marriage, how are you supposed to do right for the United States people, for that many people? And it does raise a lot of questions. I feel like this was a great line of questioning, and I'm glad that somebody drilled it home like, dude, how can we trust you? If you can't keep this oath, how are you supposed to keep this oath? I mean, you're lying in front of us already. And the Republicans are fine with it. Like I showed you, Mullins, Mr. Mullins, Senator Mullins, he was ready to literally self-snitch to keep this person moving forward in the confirmation process. Literally. Not that I'm surprised, because like their biggest issue was DEI, women in the military. And this comes from Tim Kaine on Twitter. And look, he gets a photo of it. GOP members are complaining about reduction of military standards while using a chart that misspells the word military. Like, they're so focused on DEI, they didn't even spell military right. Like, dude, you're forgetting an I. I'm pretty sure. I didn't take English. But I'm pretty sure it's an I you're missing. So, like, their entire perspective is wrong. Like, there was Republicans after this confirmation hearing that went on Fox News and was literally calling people unintelligent if they didn't confirm this person. How are you unintelligent when this person has shown you in your face in 4K? You can go back and rewatch this, that he knows nothing about our military and how it functions.
Put them on their back. He absolutely destroyed them, and if anybody votes against him on the Republican side, we've got to question their intelligence, because he will be the perfect person to get our military back.
Even Laura Ingraham had to laugh. Like, I don't know if, like, were you there? He was probably the one who didn't spell military right. That's right. He didn't spell the military, because did we watch the same thing? Did we? Like, I don't know. Y'all tell me. Are they seeing the same thing we're seeing? And then Ted Cruz, Cancun Ted. Let's just.
The day, I think every single one of these nominees is going to be confirmed. And I got to say, I want to commend the president. I think that the nominees he has put forward are extraordinary. They're committed. Look, Pete.
The nominees he put forward are extraordinary, and he commends him. These are the people that are running our government, mind you. These are the people that we think are the best and the brightest among us to be able to... Goodness. We ain't gonna get no cheaper eggs. I already knew it, but... Nah, we ain't gonna get no cheaper eggs. We gonna be in a war. Like, I hate to speak it into existence, but yeah, this... Nah. This ain't it. We're in the Matrix, y'all. This is not it. But we're going to close out with Gary Peters, because I think he sums up the entire hearing best as possible. Like, the sound bites that we were able to listen to, and this basically shows, like, Republicans aren't serious about governing.
I don't think there's board of directors in America that would hire you as a CEO with the kind of experience you have on your resume. You talk about standards. You talk about raising or lower. We have a problem of standards in the DOD, and we have to raise standards for the men and women who serve. Do you think that the way to raise the minimum standards of the people who serve us is to lower the standards for the Secretary of Defense? That we have someone who has never managed an organization more than 100 people is going to come in and manage this incredibly important organization and do it with the professionalism and has no experience that they can tell us that they have actually done that? I have real problems with that. This is not about other issues that are brought up. They're all very important. I'm just about trying to get things done, managing efficiently, and having the best people who have demonstrated that in a large organization. And I'm sorry, but I don't see that in your background. There are a lot of other things you can do very well. You're a capable person, but you have not convinced me that you're able to take on this tremendous responsibility with a complex organization and having little or no significant management experience.
Senator Gary Peters was exactly right. He's completely unserious. He does not have the know-it-all. No 500 Fortune company would hire him as a CEO. And we're supposed to give him the keys to our entire military. Anytime we have an attack that has to happen, anytime there's some kind of war that might break out, anything, our entire keys of our military we're supposed to be handing to him. He does not have the ability. And like, it makes me upset because there's actually good Republicans they could put in this position. Like, there truly is. Like, if you looked at the Marco Rubio confirmation hearing, he came in knowing exactly what he needed to know. He is more than, I can personally say that I feel a lot more comfortable with Marco Rubio as Secretary of State than I would with Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. To me, like, even though Marco Rubio, he's moved over very much MAGA, not so much Republican conservative values, at least he has some kind of understanding. Pete Hegseth has no understanding. None. Which is why I was like, let's finish off with Gary Peters, because he sums it up perfectly. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. Don't forget, this is the Opinion Hack, is where you can get all your trending political and cultural news. Coming back, I'm trying to be more consistent, y'all. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a friend, and I'll see you on the next one.